The biggest Fortnite leak we've ever had just happened, revealing the next year worth of content for Fortnite, including every single season theme, major storyline moments, storyline event leaks, and so much more. There's a lot that went down a couple days ago and plenty of misinformation being spread. So today, we're gonna cover absolutely all of it, and I'll try my best to make sense of what happened for you. If you'd like to support me in the item shop, consider using my code TLL the Reaper, and without further ado, let's dive into this massive leak. On Wednesday, a document with details stretching all the way out to Chapter 7 Season 2 was publicly posted, and there is a lot to digest here. But I would like to start this video off by clarifying that this will not be a video theorizing about all of these leaks, because there's simply far too much to talk about, and this video would end up being seriously way too long. My purpose here today is to lay it all out for you and to provide a bit of context on how this happened and what exactly you should be trusting. So let's just begin with what was leaked, as I'm sure that's why most of you are here. On the top of this document, we can see a list of leaks for the Star Wars mini-season Galactic Battle. This document was made before the season even came out, so that's why this stuff is still listed here. We'll just skip past this. The upcoming season, which is actually called Season 3, is where things begin to get crazy. As we might have been able to tell by the survey outfits we received a while back, Season 3 is themed after superheroes, more specifically, a superhero academy. And the man behind it all is none other than Midas. Somehow, Midas founds and funds an academy for these superheroes to join, leading to the island being thrown into a futuristic utopia. A couple things were also accidentally left in the files by Epic, confirming we have a POI codenamed Utopia City on its way too, replacing Seaport City. We're going to skip past the Reality Warriors text for now. We have some more cool leaks, such as Superman arriving with his own Fortress of Solitude POI and power-up in-game, and Robin being in the Battle Pass, but the real good stuff is right below it. After we saw what happened to Daigo in the Spirit Realm at the end of Lawless, it's confirmed he will be returning back as the main villain of Season 3. And Core from Chapter 2 Season 8 is returning as well with a huge role to play as Daigo's partner in crime. Daigo will end up raising an army of demons, likely to combat the new surplus of superheroes, and that will be our conflict of Season 3. As we suspected in previous videos, the 0 Point will also be heavily involved with this season. Not only will there be a 0 Point sprite next season, but a majority of the superheroes have powers that relate back to the island, such as the Storm or Reboot bands. This is an important detail, because that means something happens here on the island that creates these heroes. They don't come from somewhere else. Earlier, before Galactic Battle began, a leaker by the name of Lolo tweeted some insider information he had, separate from what we go over in today's video. In this leak, he detailed how the live event at the end of the season is likely to go, if this information is indeed correct. Apparently, the event will consist of the players following around someone that's helping us destroy the Death Star, and we actually somehow use a Zero Shard to do it. The only way this could be possible is if the Empire has had one in their possession this entire time, because realistically, there's no way we somehow steal back the shard that's in the Spirit Realm before the event can happen. Knowing this, I'm sure we succeed in destroying the Death Star, but the explosion of using this Zero Shard must create some sort of reaction with the island, creating all of the heroes we have coming up soon. Anyway, I know I said I wouldn't dive into theories and details, but I just had to for that one. Finishing off the leaks for Season 3, we are also supposed to be getting another full-length storyline live event, which is absolutely wild to think about, given how crazy this season sounds like it's going to be for the lore. Now, let's hop into Season 4. The Season 4 section of this video is going to be relatively short, because it's the season with the least amount of info currently known. In the image on screen, you can see 2 bullet points. The first one is telling us that the theme for Season 4 is going to be another invasion season, but this time focused on bugs. In parentheses, we can see the word Akari with a question mark, and similarly, Amber Herald is listed below with a question mark too. We're going to ignore Akari and Amber Herald for now, but don't worry, I'll be explaining it all soon. Finally, it's time for something you absolutely were not expecting. To end off the chapter strong, we're going to be spending a month in a Simpsons themed mini season, likely taking place on an entirely separate Springfield map. The reason for this, to me at least, seems to be that they're using Simpsons as a stand-in for having to do another OG. Back in Chapter 4, we ended the year off with a 1-month pit stop in Chapter 1. In Chapter 5, we did the same thing, but instead with Chapter 2 being the end. This time around, it seems like the cycle is being broken. Instead of another buffer spent hanging out in an old chapter, we're getting a themed mini-season, just like how Galactic Battle is right now. And just like that, Chapter 6 has concluded. Before we do move on to Chapter 7 though, there's a huge rumor that I'd like to mention. I heard from a couple specific sources that it's possible we do get another full story event at the end of season 4, acting as the finale of chapter 6. I personally would really enjoy this approach because it doesn't force Simpsons to be the way our chapter ends, or forces it to connect to a live event. This way, the chapter can end off smoothly with a fully story-driven event, and then we can take a quick fun pause before heading right back into the chaos. Now, cue chapter 7. Some way or another, we're thrown into yet another island for a brand new chapter. But thanks to the insider sheet leaked 2 days ago, we actually know the first 2 themes of the chapter. Season 1 is a California/nightlife theme, which we could sort of begin to see through the survey we got recently, which we know lines up with that season. And season 2 is Norse mythology. I know a lot of people may be upset by another mythology season, but let me tell you, there is so much potential here for a Norse season, so don't hate on it just yet. The next bullet point reveals that the Dark Presence will actually be a villain stretching into chapter 7. This is actually huge, since 99% of our villains in this game last a single chapter at most, typically only 1 season. It's very likely Charlie Wen is building up the Dark Presence to be the main big bad of the Fortnite storyline for the next couple of years. The last leak on this document says this: one of the 3 big factions returns. We'll close our eyes and pretend we didn't see that for now, because for the last time, we'll come back to that one later. And with that wraps up the general leaks up until chapter 7 season 2. Aside from this main document, there were a couple more miscellaneous leaks, such as concerts returning in chapter 7 and the amount of major events in chapter 6, but that's about it for what was shown 2 days ago. Now that we've ran through all of the things leaked, let's revisit what I skipped. If you remember, I skipped past a couple of specific quote-unquote leaks that were on this document: Reality Warriors, Akari and Amber Herald, and lastly, one of the 3 big factions returns. Believe it or not, all of those things I just listed are actually theories and not insider leaks. Let me explain. A couple of months ago, near the beginning of February, an Epic employee, which I will not name out of respect for their identity, suddenly boosted in popularity on Twitter for talking heavily about the storyline and seemingly teasing a lot of upcoming things. He quickly intertwined himself with the community and its creators, even joining a couple of Discord servers and chatting openly with its members. It wasn't long until he began reaching out to an unknown amount of creators, which led to him spilling the beans about a lot of upcoming storyline and gameplay information. And as I'm sure most of you know by now, a lot of people in this community truly can't just keep things to themselves. Obviously, many of these creators began sharing this info with their friends, and then their friends shared with their friends, and so on. Because of the amount of people that began slowly finding out about this vast amount of insider info over time, it slowly crept its way towards leakers in the community. I won't get into any specifics about who did or didn't have them, but some leakers began posting these insider leaks one by one, which eventually led to other leakers straight up dumping the rest of the information out there, which is what we saw 2 days ago. But you might still be asking yourself, what does any of this have to do with some of the leaks on that document actually just being theories? Well, to understand that, we have to take a look at one specific creator that was in talks with this employee. All of the information they got, they told directly to a couple of their friends, and then a couple of their friends' friends. And one of those people decided to make a document to consolidate all of the information. But what many people did not know is that the individual who made this document also added his own theories to it to keep everything in one place. It was made to use not only by himself, but by his friends too. So he shared this document that included real leaks and his theories. Since that point, I've found this person and talked to them about their document to clarify which parts were truly just theories. Admittedly though, I was aware of all of this insider information back when it all began, since my Discord server was one of the servers joined by this employee and I was in contact with them. So having that previous connection did help in limiting down the information that was laid out in that document in order for me to make this video and confidently tell you all which specific leaks to avoid. Now, if you decide not to believe me and think I'm lying about this story for whatever reason, you can go on Twitter and find the person that made this document. They have talked about it publicly. They're very open about it. So it's no big secret who made this document, but I figured I would make this video and keep them anonymous because I don't know how many people will see this and I don't want people hounding them. But if you are curious, you can go visit my Twitter page and you'll find the person that made this to validate all of the information that I discussed in this video. That is the whole story behind these leaks, and while a good portion of it does sound exciting, I truly hope something like this just does not happen again. Developers at Epic spend months working hard on everything that makes it in-game, and it's extremely unfair for leaks like this to spread and completely spoil all of the surprises they've had in store for us, especially for up to a year out. So please, next time, do your part and just keep your lips zipped. That's about it for today, Reapers. I'm probably going to try and make another video diving a lot deeper into these leaks because they have some insane implications, but that's for another time. I do hope you all enjoyed and this helped you get a grasp on the whole insider situation. If you'd like to support me, consider using my code TLL the Reaper in the item shop. And without further ado, until next time, keep it reaping.